Should you pull for 7's FR? Let's get started with her role. It's going to be a melee attacker slash debuffer. Her notable attacks, we're going to start with her skill 1. It is Snake Bite and Lash. It is 4 HP dumps with 50% splash. It inflicts 1 level of Snake Bite debuff for 6 turns. If you guys wondering what the Snake Bite debuff does, in of itself, it just lowers defense. Elemental Slash, her skill 2. No, that's not a typo. That's directly from Dissidia Compendium. It is also 4 HP dumps. It is high turn rate if you're breaking or attacking a broken target with this move. If you do have the Snake Bite debuff on the enemy you're attacking, it triggers twice. So that's 8 HP dumps for this skill 2. Sadistic Spikes, her EX. It is 5 HP dumps with 50% splash. It grants 1 skill 1 use, and it inflicts 3 levels of Snake Bite for 6 turns. Diving Strike, her LD. It is 7 HP dumps with 50% splash. It inflicts 3 levels of Snake Bite for 6 turns, and it transforms her HP attack to Bondage Whip. We're gonna get to Bondage Whip real quick. Bondage Whip is her LD variant HP attack. It is 3 HP dumps, inflicts 1 level of Snake Bite for 6 turns. It grants 1 free skill use for 7, and it also grants Bondage Whip, a buff that lasts for 8 turns. It is a follow-up attack. It triggers after every party move, I think. I looked up on the Dissidia Compendium. It literally gives me no information on how it's triggered, so I'm just gonna assume after every party member does something, it triggers. You can correct me that in the comments below, but don't come after me because I literally tried doing research on the move. It gave me almost no information. It reduces group brave by 400% of her attack every follow-up, and it also deals HP splash damage by 400% of 7's attack. Her force conditions, starting with her first one, it is 15% per Snake Bite level whenever using an ability, and her Snake Bite level, by the way, maxes out at 3. So as a max, you're going to be hitting for 45% for this particular condition. You're also getting a plus 30% when dealing single target brave damage, and it's not just limited to 7. It can be anyone in the party, even a call. So with her pros, we have a number of things here actually. She's a big single target attacker. If you guys were paying attention to all of the numbers and how much damage all of their skills does, it's a lot. That's big damage. Even in this current FR Echo Shinryu era, being able to consistently deal that much damage is pretty darn good. Following up on that, she can also deal amazing burst damage. Say if you're running low in your force time and you need someone who can deal quick, fast, and easy damage and consistent damage, she has an instant turn rate LD, which is by far her strongest move, and also her skill 2 when breaking or attacking a broken target with that move is going to be high turn rate. You have 2 options to where 7 can take up quite a bit of turns in a short period of time. So for last second damage and your force time is running low, I think 7 with her LD and skill 2 can do great damage there. She has a very consistent follow-up. Like I said before, if you guys are looking at the showcase, her follow-up triggers quite a bit. I'm pretty sure it's after every party move. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's how it works. The follow-up does scale with force time relatively. Not exactly, but you know, it is a bit complicated. just assume that it kind of does. Follow-up attacks in general are kind of OP. Off-turn damage is really broken in this game, and the fact that she has an avenue for that is really good. Next up, her Snake Bite debuff itself is easy to max. The way the debuff works is as long as it gets 3 levels Snake Bite, which is the max, you're good for the rest of the duration of the debuff. Unless you cancel it or unless you switch the debuff to someone else, the debuff is going to stay max for the entire time, even if the enemy takes turns themselves. It's really easy to max it out. All you need is 1 LD or 1 EX. Her FR is surprisingly easy. All it takes is dealing single target brave damage, which isn't the hardest thing to do in the world, and also her Snake Bite level essentially being max. That's an easy 75%, and you have a whole slew of characters who can fulfill both of those conditions pretty easily. So for veterans or for people who have been playing the game for some time and you have a pretty decent roster, you can definitely find some good people to complement 7's FR. An FR as easy as hers can actually enable other single target DPS units. So if you have someone like Machina, Vaughn, hell, even Penelo, Jack Garland, if you just use his skill 1, don't do that. Oh yeah, and Tifa. Tifa's gonna be absolutely broken with 7 FR, just so you know. But even if you can't help it and you're facing Shinryus, which have 2 or 3 enemies on the field, with her splash damage on most of her skills and LD and EX, she can still actually do okay. Last pro, she's actually pretty self-sufficient. Her kit is actually built around the enemy having the Snake Bite debuff, and it's not just the Snake Bite debuff just lowering defense. Her kit actually boosts her damage when someone has the Snake Bite debuff on. And finally, let's get to her cons. Only one Snake Bite can be active at a time. So if you have a Shinryu or a fight where there's going to be more than one enemy. Bear in mind that the snakebite debuff can only be latched onto one person. You're gonna have to deal most of the damage directed to that enemy. Following up on that, most Shinryus nowadays are more than one enemy, which is by far doable for 7, but where she shines the most is in single target fights. Going back to her snakebite debuff, it is underwhelming by itself. The main strength of her debuff is actually how 7's kit works around it, not necessarily the debuff itself. If you guys recall what the debuff is, it literally just lowers the enemy's defense. That's it. Her FR, like I said, it is surprisingly easy to fulfill, but in this day and age, even during the FR Echo era, there still are better and easier FRs out right now, and better FRs that will be coming out relatively soon. But the great thing about Echo is you can make essentially any FR kind of work. It's not the worst thing in the world that her FR, while easy, is still relatively restricted. It's still definitely usable. And finally, 7 actually isn't that great if you don't already have good single target DPS units. So if you're starting out, which if you're a new player, I actually don't really recommend getting 7's kit. If you don't already have a Vaughn, you don't already have a Tifa, you don't already have Machina, 7 is not going to be as good. 7 is going to be suffering a little bit when it comes to how usable she can be for your party. 7 is more for the intermediate players to the veteran players who want to capitalize on the rosters that they already have. But if you don't have any single target DPS units, my should you pull rating for 7 is going to be an A. I think she's great, and I think what she does best and what she enables is really good if you know how to use her properly. But again, she's relatively centered towards single target damage, and if you don't have enough people who can fully capitalize on that, she might not be as good as she could be. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!